How's everyone doing? Christian Hernandez here for another edition of our new SVG sponsor Spotlight. Here with a good friend of, now a good friend of the SVG family. They're just joining here. Clearly, that's why we're here. We're speaking with Christine Chalk. She's the SVP of Strategy for Tagboard. But first off, Christine, one, how are you doing? And two, how's the year going so far? We're slowly heading towards 2023.
I know, Christian, we go way back. We know each other so well. Thanks so much for having us here. We're really excited to chat with you. Gosh, the year's flying by. I cannot believe we're at November. I blinked and it's going to be 2023.
I know it's kind of crazy how the year always flies by, but with a new year comes new opportunities, and that's exactly what we're here to kind of talk about. But obviously, people at SVG on our side know who Tagboard is, but if this is the first time they're stumbling upon you guys, can you give a kind of brief description of what the platform is, what do you guys do, and how you guys play a role in live sports productions?
Absolutely. So at our core, right, Tagboard is an Emmy-nominated audience experience platform. We are here to help storytellers produce the most engaging content in the world. I think the best way to talk about it, though, is kind of talk a little bit about the problem. And to illustrate it the best, like if you could think, Christian, or whoever ends up watching this, about the last piece of sports content that you watched live. You know, for me, it was the Seahawks Chargers, right? And I think about one, where'd you watch it?
Right.
And two, what else were you doing while you watched it? For me, I was watching it on my TV, right? My husband was there. He watched it in person. A girlfriend of mine watched it on her cell phone. And I don't know about you, I'm guilty as charged. I sat there with this in my hand.
I literally have it right next to me right now. So
we always do, right? I sat here. I was guilty of checking my fantasy score. I was scrolling through Twitter because I wanted to see what people were saying if DK Metcalf was coming back in the game. I was texting my husband to say, hey, what's it like at the stadium? And yes, of course, I was watching the game. But the fact of the matter is, I, along with pretty much every other viewer, was pretty distracted. And that's the biggest problem, right? As our viewers, we are trying to get the attention of an audience that is really distracted and an audience that is watching the content in really different ways. I expect to engage with something way differently on TV than you might if you watch the game on your cell phone or if you were there in person. And, you know, that's the big problem that we're seeing. And it's not a unique problem. Everyone is seeing it, whether you're a team, a league, a network, a podcaster. We're all dealing with distracted audiences, and where your audience eye goes, that's where your ad dollars go.
Right.
And, you know, we don't want to see any of those eyeballs or ad dollars run away. And the problem people are tackling by saying, hey, we got to produce more engaging content. But they're doing it the same way we've always done it, throwing multi-million-dollar hardware at it and saying, let's hire more people and let's do this. And really at Tagboard, our goal is to help people tell that engaging story in as simple a way as possible. So we've got a production platform that allows you, it's all run by a cloud-based graphics engine where you can build compelling graphics, interactive data, real-time content coming from the richest sources, social media. It used to be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Now we add in Reddit, TikTok, YouTube, you name it, to help people engage an audience wherever they are and engage that audience who's holding this in their hands. That's what we do. We work with over 300 different sports properties, entertainment and media properties, everything from the venues to the teams, to the leagues, to the broadcast channels. And we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Right. You mentioned two key things that I'm sure people will totally agree with. You talk about grabbing the attention of the viewer, and two, automation. It's the way that the industry is slowly but surely coming to. To transition to the next question, Christine, based on conversations that we had since 2020, I know a lot of teams and venues, like you mentioned, used it, you know, when fans weren't there to make sure the authenticity and the scenario seemed like it was real life. But kind of moving away from that, you guys seem to be a part of every huge event, whether it's CFP National Championship or, you know, World Series. Or just talk about the relationships you have with all these networks and these broadcast partners, and how each kind of network is using it to their own unique use case.
Yeah, that's one of the parts that makes our job so fun is it can be used across all of these different spaces. We joke that if you have a screen and you have the internet, you can have Tagboard. And so you may have seen us, like you mentioned, World Series, the most recent Live Golf, the championship tournament that just happened coming up here, World Cup. Everyone uses us in their own unique way to engage the viewers, like I mentioned, where they live. So I used to work in TV. That's how I got into Tagboard. And what was frustrating was in order to take like a great tweet or something, right, and put it on a broadcast or a Jumbotron, for me, a broadcast, it took somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes.
Right.
Believe it or not, you had to build out the whole graphic. It was really cumbersome to the point where by the time you had it ready, you're like, that is old news. I don't need it anymore.
Right.
So what we've done is we've built this workflow. It's a one-click workflow to be able to put any piece of content onto your screen in about 5 to 10 seconds. So to give you a few examples of how that's being done, one of our great partners is Major League Baseball, and they are running real-time interactivity through Tagboard so that you can be sitting in a ballpark. You can see a QR code up on the Jumbotron that's powered by our platform. You can scan it with your code. And instead of the old days when they just got to ask one person in the ballpark to play the trivia question, now that QR code takes you right into the ballpark app, where you can actually play along in your seat and say, hey, ask that one person that trivia question. Now you have every single person in the ballpark who gets to play along.
Right.
Another one of our partners, NFL Network, they are using our graphics engine to power 100% of their graphics on their digital programming. They're able to do a lot more with the team they have, and they are spinning up new content day after day. They're running it through Tagboard's graphics engine. So a lot of different people, whether it's the real-time social content or graphics engine, helping them engage their audience no matter where they are.
Right. And the unique thing of what you guys do is that you seem to be putting the fans into the center of the action, whether it's at a baseball game or you're watching a television show and they're like, oh my God, my tweet's on screen, right? So they feel like you're being a part of the show, which in turn turns into more viewership for people that want to actually watch the show. So I think it's you scratch my back, I scratch yours type of scenario. So it seems like it's all working out.
Totally right. People like to see themselves on TV, and that's a great thing. If you watch NBA on TNT, they are experts at leveraging Tagboard. They've won multiple Emmys for it.
Right.
They let the fans poke fun at Shaq and Chuck and Ernie, and it makes for such organic, engaging television. You can't turn away.
Without a doubt. One key piece of news that I obviously, if people know who Tagboard is, you just received new funding earlier this year. So first off, congratulations. Secondly, I want to ask how that funding will either expand the business or how it will continue to kind of improve and grow your operations moving forward.
Absolutely. Thank you. We're really excited to have completed our Series A earlier this year. Since then, our company has doubled in size. And one huge note is huge growth on our product and engineering side because we've got a lot of really, really exciting products in the works. At the risk of saying too much and getting my hand slapped by the folks who run up product and engineering, I'll keep my mouth shut a little bit, but I'll kind of give you that tease that over the next few months, you're going to see some really, really exciting things coming from Tagboard. You mentioned earlier that real-time content and that automation piece. You must be inside our heads a little bit because that's exactly where we're going. And there's going to be a lot of really exciting things coming here in the next few months.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure we'll be here to kind of talk about that as we move forward when those announcements are made. I think overall, when you pull out, to a larger picture, Christine, how do you continue to see Tagboard kind of continue to make an impact, whether it is a live event that people are watching our TV? And obviously, as you know, I'm sitting next to my phone. This thing is becoming more and more ubiquitous with, watching it on TV. You mentioned the second screen capabilities, or just people are always flocking to the small screen. How do you see things, continuing to move into the right direction and Tagboard becoming right at the center of it?
Yeah, I think that second screen is huge, right? Recently, we saw that more than 80% of your audience has a second device in their hands while they're watching sports. Right. And so it's how do you capture that viewer's attention? We've seen a huge uptick in people who use Tagboard. We're like, I used to have to say no to this great idea we had, and now we can say yes to it, right? You have teams that we used to just tweet, and now we have this idea with the same amount of people, and we can run entire pregame shows and postgame shows and capture our audience there. which opens up a whole new opportunity for sponsorships that never used to exist. One of our new partners, we work with a production group that's helping with Thursday Night Football. And I think they are on to something with the future of what programming looks like, right? They've taken one Thursday Night Football game and they do a prime vision that's all driven by stats. And they do a Dude Perfect version that's all driven by really great family, kid-friendly content and tweets. And they do another, and it's kind of that choose your own adventure as a viewer. Right. What do you care about? What's important to you? And like you said, it takes it all back to we're putting the viewer right at the center of it. Instead of just feeding them what they think they're going to find interesting, listen to your viewer and actually listen to what they want and serve them content that is what they want and what they're asking for. That's something that we definitely have our eye on and is really exciting about the future of what sports content can be like.
Right. The days of just watching the game have kind of gone far away. And if you weren't into sports, you weren't going to find something that was for you. But now if you sit down and flip on an app or flip on a television or watch the game on your cell phone, there's always going to be something for you. So Christine, congratulations on the great work so far. It was a pleasure getting to meet you. And I guess welcome to the SVG family. Have a great rest of the year and hope to see you in person and meet in person soon.
Absolutely, Christian. Thank you so much for having us. We are stoked to be a part of it.